Yeah. So I'll log in as a root user. So this is the dashboard of AWS. As you can see, these are my most used recently visited services. So
Right.
there are many things which can be done using AWS. For example, you can use an EC2 instance. You can use Elastic Beanstalk. You can use Lightsail. You can use it with a domain. You can connect to IoT device. You can do many things. So what I'll do right now is I'll show how to host a web app or
Yeah.
a basic website using, say, Node.js.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll assume you have already uh, created the Node.js app. So what I'll do is I'll go to Elastic Beanstalk and I'll create a new environment. I'll set up a web server environment, select, and I'll give a application name as testing.
Okay.
And it will automatically generate the environment name. Domain I'll leave empty for now. I'll choose a platform as Node.js. So here it will ask to upload the code. So I'll select upload code from a local file. So here I'll choose a local file. So I'll choose some random. I'll have to first zip the file without node modules. So what I'll do?
To do from a GitHub repository?
It's possible, but this is the best way. Uploading is just the best way. So you'll have to zip without the node modules. Everything's the same. Like your git ignore, everything is the same. You will have to just upload. Not inside the zip. All the files should be there. It shouldn't be like inside the zip another folder is there and another inside that you will have the whole app. No, just opening the zip, all the different files should be there. So I'll upload a file right now. So choose file. I'll show one thing which I already zipped. So this one, it's the zipped one. So what I did was this app.js you can see, and .env, readme, seeds, etc. package.json. Everything I just zipped in the same folder. So there's no file inside file. So this file I'll just choose. You can put application tags. You may not. It's your which. And instead of create environment, I'll go to configure more options.
What are these application tags actually? I've been seeing that and I haven't really understood what they do.
So those are for just for your reference. Assume you have 100 or 200 apps in your AWS. So for you to identify those apps, those are tags. That's all.
Okay, and you create those tags as classifications, or is it unique for each app or something like that?
It's unique for each app. It won't allow you to make the same tag again. It's just to identify that app. You can put anything.
Understood.
You can put it as my app 1, my app 2, my app 3, etc.
Got it.
So here configure app, if you go there, so you can see different options. If you go for single instance, it's free tier eligible. So what it will do is in free tier eligible, AWS offers 1 year of free tier.
Yes.
For T2 micro instances.
Yes.
So
what is the difference between that T2, T3 and everything I see on the AWS?
yeah. So on AWS, T2, T3, etc., all everything you see, those are the
Yeah.
instance names. It's instance types.
Okay.
So for example, T2 micro is a smaller instance compared to T2 medium.
Okay.
Is
And
smaller than T2 large.
and then the difference between T3, like, is there something like T3 micro, something like that?
Yeah, T3 is also there. T3 is
So
a
T3,
lower tier
oh,
than T2.
huh. And what is the difference? Like T2 and T3 difference, like
Yeah, there are
what is the,
differences. So I'll show. So
okay.
there are pricing differences as well. So AWS instances pricing.
I think we will see this when you're creating that the what do you call that? Elastic Beanstalk thing.
Yeah. So here
Okay.
different instances. Yeah. So there are different types of instances. So all they differ is in the processor and the size of the instance. For example, one can have let's say 20 GB of storage, another can have 40 GB of storage, and the RAM also. For example, one can have say 2 GB of RAM, another instance can have 4 GB of RAM, another can have 16 GB of RAM. Similarly, it's the size or the capacity of the instance. That's what these T2, T3, M4, etc. are named after.
And actually, I experienced when I had the 2 GB RAM instance that I created. I wasn't able to deploy the code because it wasn't even able to um, build the instance, like build the
Yeah,
Node.js app,
yeah,
the React JS app actually.
yeah,
It wasn't even able to build it with 2 GB of RAM.
yeah.
So minimum is required like 4 GB or something like that. What do you recommend for
So
building?
this for testing purposes, T2 micro is the that is offered in the free tier is the best one.
So it can also compile like React JS apps and stuff.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah. I'll show you right now.
understood.
So right now I uploaded a Node.js app if you observed. And
Okay.
then now I am selecting single instance or single instance. The advantage is it's free tier eligible, right?
Hmm.
So for the first whole year, you don't pay anything for using this.
Hmm.
And then there's something called high availability. This is for
Right.
if you want to scale the apps.
Okay.
For example, let's say some your users start increasing. High availability is for auto scaling as well. So if you can see here, environment type, it says load balancing and auto scaling. So what is load balancing is when a request comes to your server, instead of sending
Hmm.
everything to the server, it
Mhm.
sends like first in first out, like which and it sends also load balanced, like the load is balanced. Like if there are too many requests to your server, it makes
Hmm.
the request wait for some time, and then it routes to the nearest available instance or the if many instances are there, and then
Okay.
the request the response is gotten back to the client.
But so high availability will obviously, I'm assuming, will cost higher also.
Yeah, see, so in load balancing and auto scaling, what happens is number of instances is 1 to 4, right?
Mhm.
So what number of instances 1 to 4 means is when auto scaling occurs, one instance is the minimum number of T3 to T2 micro instances which are there. If number of users increases, etc., it will auto scale to 2 or 3 or 4 instances. So you can put the maximum as 20, 30 also, 1 to 30 instances. Then what will happen is as your number of users increase, the instances also will increase to support those many users.
Okay. And is there a way of kind of like setting some sort of a alert when it's going over a certain amount? So
Yeah, you will
I
get
will be,
alert when it happens.
and can we set it to like a lower amount or something?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, fine.
So
So that has,
yeah, so right now what will happen is 1 to 4 is set by default because to save cost. Either you will pay 1 times the cost or 4 times the cost. You won't pay 5 times the cost, to be very
and
conservative.
and if it is only using one instance, you'll only be paying for that, or will you be paying additional just for the auto scaling feature?
If you use one instance forever in the whole month and it never got auto scaled to 2 instances ever, you will pay only for
Hmm.
1 instance for that month.
So it will cost the same as
Single tier, free tier, yes.
it'll cost exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it will cost exactly the same thing, even if
Hmm.
it's high
And
availability.
and in the single instance thing,
Hmm.
if it goes above the what it can handle, then what happens? Does it crash or something, or
It doesn't crash, so it will, whenever a request is made, the page just refreshes, nothing happens.
okay? So basically, it'll decrease the load time. I mean, increase the load time.
It not increase the load time. Assume you are logging in for something.
Hmm.
Number of requests are too high. When you want to log in and you go to login, the login page
Hmm.
will just refresh. It won't log in.
Oh, okay. Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Understood. Okay.
So that's the thing.
Understood.
There are many options. See, monitoring. So in this monitoring, you can set up alarms, etc. After a
Okay.
certain limit is reached, etc. Notifications as well.
Understood. So, and load balancing exists for all tiers? I mean, all of these options, or only for high availability, something like that?
So for single tier, load balancing is not required because there's only one instance. So what else will it do, right?
Hmm, 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 hmm.
Load balancing is
Uh,
only required for more than one instance.
But because what I experienced is I actually selected single tier, sorry,
Mhm.
single instance,
Hmm.
and it was still charging me for load balancing, and I was really confused because I don't know. Do you know why it could be charging me even though there
You
was
can attach to single instance as well, load balancer.
but then I
Just
did
that
not like
mm,
balancing.
what you
Okay,
have not
maybe
attached
maybe
load balancer.
maybe I had accidentally done it because I have no idea how to use this only.
Okay.
So I might have accidentally chosen it.
So I'll show, for example, high availability. I'll select and
So if I
I'll
want to disable load balancing for the single instance, sorry, I want to know
for single
if I
instance,
don't
load
want
balancing is
to.
not there. See, load balancer. This the configuration does not contain a load balancer for
Hmm.
single instance, free tier eligible.
What
Okay.
is the second option? Single instance using spot instance. What is that?
Yeah, using spot instance, what it will do is, for example, let's say you want to pay less and you also want
Mhm.
to scale it up a little bit. There's something called spot instances where assume AWS has many servers, right? So some of it goes
Okay.
unused.
Uh-huh.
So this will use the unused processing or CPUs or of other users and then give it to you at a lower cost.
Okay. Okay. So it is kind of getting high availability only if other servers are available, something
Yeah,
like that,
it's like
right?
a
Maybe
shared resource.
shared resources. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 So, but if we go for second one,
Hmm.
the cost might be a little more, I guess.
Yeah, it will be little more than the single instance.
Okay.
High
Yeah.
availability, it's
Fine.
more than the single instance using pod instance. This will be much more than high availability.
Okay.
So
Got
I'll
it.
go for high availability now just to show what will happen. And I'll just create environment. It will automatically create all the things like security groups, instances, etc. Everything it will create. It will just generate a URL.
Got it.
So as you can see in the S3 bucket, it's storing the data, and environment has transitioned to pending. So advantage of Elastic Beanstalk is if you are building a web app, it will do everything for you automatically. It's a shortcut. See, created security group, created target group. If you have to do it manually using just EC2 instances, if you just launch a EC2 instance, etc., it's very hard to track all these, and it's very hard to do all these manually for each and every web app that you build. So just give it 2 minutes, it will generate a URL.
Yeah, no worry.
It will generate a URL for you, specifically for you. That URL will be public.
Yeah. And
So
that one
that-
you can kind of route to domain in the DNS and stuff like that.
Yeah. So AWS has a DNS called Route 53. I'll show you. So here I assume your domains, etc., will be in GoDaddy or something like that, right?
I have a domain in GoDaddy, but I'm using Cloudflare for the DNS management.
Okay. So what happens is in the hosted zones, for example, I'll show you mine. So here these A record is the one which directs this route to the IP address.
So you can how do you do this? You will transfer the name servers over here or something?
Yeah, so I transferred the name server to Route 53. What I did was this NS record is generated automatically, and I went to GoDaddy and I entered these name servers in my domain.
Understood.
Because this domain belongs to my GoDaddy, and I entered this NS records, that and this got connected.
Got it.
If you enter the same NS records in some other domain, it won't get connected because obviously you don't own this root, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it got connected. Now I'm using this, and I'm routing my A record to an IP address. This can be an environment also.
Can you do this without having a DNS on AWS itself? I'm assuming you can, but then it will be
yeah, you
bit
can,
more-
but I prefer AWS Route 53 because everything will be in the same account. And see, as you can see, CloudWatch Alarm is also done. Load balancer is also done. Added instance also is also done automatically. Let it finish. So as you can see, www dot is also an A record.
Yeah.
I'm redirecting it to same root domain.
Yeah.
So what I'll do right now is, after this is created, I'll create a dummy subdomain and show, so that this instance will then come there. So this Node.js, after that, whatever it's in it is again another thing. Like for example, the database I hosted is somewhere else.
And how do I know for each instance how much it is costing me?
Yeah.
Like,
So for
like,
that,
for example, yeah, one single instance, if I want to know how much, only that is costing. I don't want to know others.
if you go
Only
to
for that one.
billing,
Yeah.
if you go to billing, and if you go to, let's say, Cost Explorer, not Cost Explorer, bill details. If you go, it shows what it's charging. For example, CloudFront or Route 53, it's charging me $0.5. So these many queries happen.
Like, I want to know for one specific instance only.
Yeah, for that, let's say here, Lightsail I'm using. So it shows,
So these are two different instances.
yeah, these are two different instances, three different instances.
And like, where is the name given? Because I will have named the instances something. So how do I know where that like, because for
So here
example,
you
I'm
can
doing
go for monthly, etc. Yeah.
yeah.
So here EC2, etc. It shows the combined one. If you want the specific this one, you can go to let's say uh, you can go to this cost explorer and launch
Yeah.
cost explorer. So here you can explore where it went. So
I've
check back in
seen this.
24 hours, but after this you can go for reports, etc., where each and every instance it will show what this one. So for in here these application tags come into place, so that if you have put a tag next to that tag, it will show this much cost.
Reason why I'm asking this is because I think you'll understand, like, to charge my clients for that
Yeah.
specific hosting.
Hmm.
How do I know is the question.
So what I specifically do is, because what happens is all these hosting, etc., it might look cheaper, or it might look a little easier to you now, but I would advise you to create a new accounts for new clients.
For every single client, a new different account.
Yeah, I use a different account in their name and in their email address. I just manage it. And they
Is it
pay
not
directly to this
manage
AWS.
one account at all?
What?
Like, even if you have a different email address, can you not manage their stuff in your account or something like that?
You can do that with this thing called when I logged in, it showed different, right? Root and
Yeah.
AMI, AMI or root and another one, role access. Yeah. So that you can do, but what I would prefer is create a different email and different account for them using their credit cards, etc. Because one of my clients, it has scaled up to such an extent that his AWS cost has been around 1 lakh for the past year. Just AWS cost.
Right.
So if I have to manage it, I'll have to add all my clients and manage it. I'll have to just specifically charge him and give him invoice saying why I charge this much for this month, etc. Instead of that, I just give it to them, and they because of AWS every month invoice also goes to them to their email, so they know to pay every month to AWS directly. I just handle the development costs.
Understood. Okay.
So I can manage it on my own and charge an extra fee, but what happens is if you, for example, let's say that client of mine, assume 1 lakh per year or something. So if I have to give an estimate to him of how much I'll charge for him, if I say 1 lakh or let's say 2 lakhs or something, he might not agree for my project at all, because he might think it's too costly, even though he'll realize in the future that it's costly. So it's better to not tell that, and not tell that. It's better to just keep a separate account for separate clients and not manage theirs. Just manage theirs, but not take a commission, etc.
Understood. Got it.
So here, if they say, if the client asks you why it costed so much, etc., again you will have to go to your AWS account. You will have to generate a report and show this client this much hours he has used, so that's why this price. Instead of that, if they have their own AWS accounts, they'll directly know how much they have used. In fact, if they are still doubtful, they can directly call AWS, and AWS will respond saying so and so instances were used for so long, so we have charged this much. So that's what I do. For most of my third-party services, I just ask the client to pay directly. I don't pay a single thing, and I don't take any commissions. I just take charges for the development cost and the managing. So here I'll
Makes
go
sense,
to Elastic Beanstalk. So now it shows okay. Health is good. Some warning, it's okay. So this URL is there. This URL shows the Node.js app that I have hosted.
Understood.
So I'll just copy this URL, copy link, and go to Route 53, create record. I'll just create testing.
Yeah, this one.
I'll go to alias, choose endpoint, and I'll go to Elastic Beanstalk environment, and I'll choose region. What's the region here? Mumbai. I'll choose Mumbai, and it automatically shows the URL.
So tell me, where did you get that Mumbai? Where did you find it's Mumbai? So,
Here, right top
got
corner.
it. Understood.
Simple routing, etc. Create record. So now if I go to it will take some time.
Yeah, no, I got it. No, so
Propagation check. So if you go to this DNS checker or what's my DNS, and if you enter it shows in almost okay, in India also it has propagated. Yeah, in some places it has not propagated. It will take minimum 30 seconds to maximum 30 days. I mean 2 days, not 30 days. So what I will do is I will go to a different browser and go to incognito and show you.
That's fine. I got this. This part is fine. This part is fine.
So I'll go here and search for.
So when you're no need of this. I understood this DNS thing. It's okay. When you're doing this thing for like management outside of the AWS thing, is there anything you have to change the security thing, or just directly route to the IP address?
So what happens is if you use outside the Route 53, sometimes it only asks for IP address. That's all. It won't allow for the environment URL. That is why I use Route 53.
But what is the problem? Even if you route to only the IP address, actually no. If you are using in, that's why I'm using Cloudflare, because you can also put the URL directly in the A record, and that will make my life easier also. But if you are using the IP address, is there any disadvantage in that?
There's no disadvantage.
Okay, and I've had a little bit of issues with the SSL security thing like this, because this is something which I don't completely understand properly. So in the when I'm doing in Heroku.com, there looks like SSL is provided by default. Like, is it possible to get SSL security on the Amazon or something like that?
Yeah, it's possible. I'll show that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now it has propagated. So
Yeah.
testing.codegrace.com, it's showing that instance that I hosted, but it's not on HTTPS. So now what I'll do is I'll go to ACM
Hmm.
or Amazon Certificate Manager.
Hmm. So this one, do you have to pay for, or is it?
It's free. For Amazon hosted sites, it's free.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so how do you do this now?
So right now, as you can see, I have put codegrace.com as well as star.codegrace.com.
Okay.
Right. So here what happens is star dot means every subdomain is protected under this certificate.
Hmm.
Star is a wildcard.
So can you? Is it possible to kind of showcase how do you do this?
Yeah. So you just go request a certificate, request a public certificate, and you enter the domain name. Here you enter also the wildcard things.
Okay.
For example, I'll write
So,
something like
so it'll be codegrace.com and star.codegrace.com.
yeah.
Okay, so you can just you basically when you type a domain name, you can add another one. So add another name to certificate.
For example,
There you
if you want to add a certificate for codegrace.com and you also want to add a certificate for www.codegrace.com. So that's a
So you are
subdomain, right?
understood.
So that comes under star dot. So you can
So-
put as many subdomains as possible in one certificate.
And so you basically type this over there, and then you press, and then you click on add another name, and then you click on star, and
Yeah.
then you write star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then what happens is it gives a .txt record to verify that you're the owner of that domain.
And you have to add that to the DNS, records.
Records. And then after that it will verify, and it after validation it shows as you saw, where did it go? ACM. And then it will show here. So issued and status issued is yeah, success, validation success.
Understood.
So validation is success, so it goes. So now what I'll do is I'll go to Elastic Beanstalk and I'll go to this testing environment. I'll go to configuration and I'll go to load balancer, edit. Here I'll go to listeners. Okay. I'll add a listener. I'll put port as 443 because HTTPS protocol HTTPS. I'll choose this certificate. This is the certificate that we generated just now in ACM, or the wildcard certificate that I already have.
Understood.
Now I put the latest one as a security policy default.
How do you know that is the latest one? Sorry.
Date is there next to it, so it's
okay.
So pending created shows. So I just go and apply.
And when the okay, so you're going to load balancer, and inside of that listener, and then from there you're doing this. Okay. And now in React, so I have struggled a little bit previously for this one. For a port, different port numbers. So for example, in Node.js, if you have 8080 and stuff, and this is the struggle I had with not in the Elastic Beanstalk when I created my own custom EC2 instance.
I would prefer not create EC2 instance at all, because you have to set up security group, you have to set up load balancer, you have to set up target group, you have to do all the VPC and stuff, and it's a lot of
I think
headache.
it's why I had a lot of problems
Yeah.
because now if you just want to host a React app without any backend, that also is considered as Node.js or what?
That
Just
is
the React app.
considered as a static app that you can do in S3.
Huh.
I'll show you
So
that
basically,
also.
you will build a code and then you upload it to what?
Yeah. No,
With the
you will build the
with
code
file.
and you will have the build file, right?
That file you will zip and upload.
No. You will have the min.js, min.css, and HTML, right? That whole folder you will upload to S3. And you will make that S3 public, and you will name the S3 as the domain name. And that S3 link you will put as a subdomain or a domain, as an A record.
If you don't mind, can you show that once?
Yeah, I'll show that. So now it's showing as tick again. So now if I go and press and if I go to HTTPS, yeah, HTTPS.
Okay.
So in case of single instance, we can't enable this SSL because there won't be any load balancer, right?
Yeah, there won't be any load balancer. For that,
so
there's a
maybe,
different technique.
Technique, yeah, right. Yeah. Even I thought there will be different option for that.
Yeah, there will be different technique.
So how do you do it in that?
So there, what you will do is you will have to go to EC2, and then you will have to change the listener. That's a little different than it, and that's a little tricky as well. I also refer these some of these tutorials and do for single instance thing. For load balancer, it's straightforward. Because here load balancer, if you put it to the Elastic Bean stack, it's called an application load balancer. So here it's easier to put a listener, but in single instance, you have to connect EC2 to the SSL, so it's a little tricky.
Got it. And just I think I will only look at. I can just search for.
Search for single instance HTTPS. You will get it.
Okay, AWS single instance. Okay, got it. I will search for that.
Yeah. Now I'll show the S3 one.
Yeah.
I'll go to S3.
I'm sure you would have done this like struggle for years before you got all of these things, because no, I've been trying to find like navigate through this documents and stuff. I was really getting an headache with the documentation. Somehow I don't know, like my rant is like they could have given just one example of how to set up these things for a new user and it will be set for me. But
as you can see, I hosted many static apps here.
Yeah.
So this box, so this box.anddevelopers.com, this is the name of the bucket. Okay. Name of the bucket should be the domain name also.
Okay.
So for example, that's because I'll tell you why. So for example, box.anddevelopers.com. If you go, it's HTTPS. And it's an augmented reality app, so it asks for camera access. But what I'll do is I'll go for e-commerce So as you can see, it's HTTPS and it's just a single bucket. These are the objects in it, just assets. HTML.index.html, styles.css. Similarly, your React app will have these three
Yeah.
.css, .html, and .js.
Yeah.
So you can just
And
upload.
it should be named index is what I'm assuming. Index is the main
Yeah,
file is what
index
I'm
is the
assuming.
mail
Right?
file.
Okay.
So Amazon S3, what I'll do is I'll create a bucket. I'll give
And
the
if in
bucket
case
name
the
as,
name
yeah.
is something else, is it possible to ask AWS to use that as a main file?
Which
If it
one?
is named something else?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
I'll show that.
Okay.
So assume you have a bucket name called testing2.codex.com. Okay. So this bucket name should be same as domain name or the subdomain name.
Got it.
So now here what I'll do is instead of blocking all public access, I'll unblock all public access.
Okay.
And I acknowledge a bucket might be public.
Yeah.
I'll have to add another script. I'll add that because to secure it from unauthorized access. I'll put that afterwards. Server side
But wouldn't
advanced.
that be handled in the code? Oh, I mean, it won't. No, correct. Yeah, it won't be.
So create bucket. So here testing 2 is done and it shows objects can be public. So I'll quickly go to this, quickly go to properties, not properties, permissions, and I'll quickly copy this policy, bucket policy. This policy, I took it from the internet.
Yeah, but then
I took it from an
I just have a look
AWS
at
documentation.
that. I understand.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
show that. I took this documentation from the AWS documentation.
Got it.
So I'll go to permissions. I'll go to bucket policy edit.
Yeah.
And I'll paste this policy.
Just 1 second be there. Just,
Yeah, I'll show.
AR and action GitHub site. Allow.
So it allows only S3 get object.
Okay, not read write. Okay, got it.
Not read write. Yeah.
Okay. So
This I'll change it. Yeah. It got changed.
Right access, understood. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll do save changes. As soon as I do this, you can see public access is there, but it's only get access, which AWS doesn't know.
Understood.
So now I'll go to properties. I'll go down and I'll go to static website hosting. This last one. I'll go to edit and I'll enable it. And I'll select host a static website. So here, as it said, index document, I can put index.html, I can put app.html, whatever. Right.
Understood.
So this is the redirect rules, which I don't want. I'll just save changes. Okay, index.html. Save changes. So it's saved. Now what I'll do? Now what I'll do? I'll go to this bucket objects and I'll upload something. So what I'll do is I'll create a new HTML file, index.html. Yeah. I'll just put a random Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll go to upload, add files. I'll upload this index.html. You can have whatever you want. Like you can have
Or else you
other assets and
can
other.
if you want to add the build folder, you have to manually add everything, or just add folder.
Add folder and add the things. So in
Okay.
this route only, the index.html should be there. That's all. And all the relative paths.
And but then if you upload the build folder, won't it create a build folder, and inside that will be everything?
Yeah, inside that it will be everything. So here you will have to go to add files and you have to select all the files in the inside the build folder.
Okay. Okay.
So as you can see, S3 testing.codegrace.com, testing2.codegrace.com is the destination. As you can see, that is the destination. So I'll put the upload. Succeeded. I'll close this. Now I'll go to properties. I'll copy this URL, bucket URL. Okay. Now I'll go to S3. Now I'll go to route 53.
So the naming the bucket, the domain name, is it a convention or is it required by AWS?
It's required by Cloudflare, CloudFront actually. So do you want HTTPS or do you not want HTTPS? Because if we add it right now, there won't be any HTTPS. It will just go to that bucket.
I mean, you can add HTTPS at any point of time, no?
Yeah. So right now, see, hi, this is testing is this URL. So if you go to if you apply this URL to the route 53 now, it will just show this same thing in this one. I'll show how to add a HTTPS also.
Isn't it the same way or is it different?
So you have to use the CDN provider CloudFront in front of S3 bucket to make it HTTPS. That's the hack that we are using.
So that mean that, or I think it's the same way in the single instance EC2 also you do the same thing, correct?
No. That's a little different. So I'll
Okay,
show how to do this.
Yeah,
I'll show how to do this. CloudFront CDN. So here, as you can see, I'll go to create distribution. Here I can just select this. See, it's only showing me. I'll select testing 2 and I'll choose don't use OAI. Enable origin shield, no. Default, compress objects, redirect HTTP to HTTPS or HTTPS only, whatever I want. Right.
Okay.
And allowed methods are get and head only. I don't want them to put post, etc. Restrict your access, no. Cache policy, I'll leave it as it is. Use all edge locations. Yeah. Here choose a certificate. Yeah. Here I'll select the certificate. For this also certificate we have to create. So this I have this star dot, which is a wildcard. I'll use that. I'll put the latest one and I'll just select create distribution. And this distribution name is there, right? d2g7ub.cloudfront.net.
Yeah.
This URL I'll put behind the route 53.
Oh.
So let this get over.
That's interesting. Okay.
So just S3, you can't make it HTTPS without CloudFront. CloudFront is a CDN which is like a, CDNs, right?
Yeah, I've used it, but I've not really understood it
Yeah.
specifically.
CDNs
It's
are
okay.
content delivery networks. So content
Yeah.
delivery networks, in short, is that, for example, let's say you have .css file somewhere,
Yeah.
something like jQuery or something like that. So
Correct.
people usually use CDNs for that, where some
Yeah.
URL is there instead of a local hosted file. So that
Correct.
URL, what it will do, it will be hosted somewhere. Similarly, what this CDN does is, this content delivery networks, it will be hosted somewhere and it will be cached.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so that to give a better user experience.
Correct.
So here CloudFront automatically has this feature that you can put HTTPS to any of its content, and it so happens that S3 you can't host it without HTTPS. I mean, you can only host HTTP in S3. So combining
Okay.
CloudFront and this one, you can host static websites using CloudFront and S3. That's how I host my React apps. So I'll just refresh this page. Still deploying, let it deploy. Okay, I forgot to add the alternate domain name. I should have added it, but it's not a problem.
What is the alternate domain name?
It's the same, the
Got it.
subdomain.
Understood.
I should have added it.
Understood. Understood.
Because it will allow it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this. I would have taken multiple months for me to figure this out.
Yeah. So I'll go to this URL. No, I shouldn't go to this URL before it's deployed because it's a cached one. If I go before, it will show. It will be cached for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just refresh this. Yeah, it's deployed. Now I'll go to this and I'll go to this URL. Access denied. CloudFront. So I'll show you how it works. If I go to Route 53 now, not Route 53, I have used Lightsail for this another domain. You can do lots using AWS. So this is a WordPress instance using AWS.
Right.
WordPress instance. So I got to networking and developers. So here also I can create a record, etc. So I create a CNAME. CNAME. No, yeah. What have I put? I think I have put the bucket as testing2.codex.com, right?
Yeah. Testing.
Testing2. So I should go to Route 53 only. So it's based on that. If you go to Route 53, DNS, you can go to Route 53, or Lightsail, you can use Lightsail, or Cloud Front, you can use CloudFront.
Yeah.
So here I'll create a record. Testing2. CNAME. Create record. See, it's created successfully. Testing blue dot.
I think the access was denied or something on that.
Yeah. CloudFront origins.
Yeah, almost 1 hour is over. I hope I'm not taking too much of your time right now.
Yeah, it's fine. So distributions, behaviors.
You forgot to add that alternate domain. Is it because of that or something?
It might be because of that, but it might be due to the S3 also.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have put anddevelopers.com here.
Oh.
That's code base.
Oh.
That's why. So here also you should make sure that the certificate as well as the everything should be in Virginia.
Why is that?
It's because the certificate CloudFront doesn't allow for other regions.
So wait, you're saying the what should be in Virginia? Everything like including
X3
the hosting
bucket
of
should be in Virginia,
okay.
and CloudFront should be in Virginia. The certificate should be in Virginia.
And okay. But so in Mumbai, it's not possible. Like if you have a, I don't think Mumbai is there. But then if you
Mumbai is
put in
not
Singapore,
possible. Yeah.
hmm.
So everything should be in Virginia. Only then it will work. Yeah, that's the problem. I didn't put it in Virginia.
Alexa, stop. Okay. Okay. And just out of curiosity, I mean, like because recently I kind of did if it is only a static React app, I realized I started doing in Netlify because it's entirely free for hosting static
Yeah,
sites.
yeah, you can do it on Netlify.
So, what is there any advantage of doing it on S3 versus Netlify?
For S3, about 20,000 requests are free. First 20,000 requests.
Correct.
After that, also it's very nominal. But in Netlify, it's hard to connect the domain. It's rather you can use Vercel if you want.
Vercel.
Yeah, Vercel.app.
Vercel.app.
Because Netlify, it's hard to connect the domain, right?
Correct. And sorry, one second. This 20,000 requests, is it like per month or is it
Per month, per month.
Okay, got it.
So it's just the same. Netlify is also using S3 only. It's just automating the things.
Okay, Vercel app. I'm just seeing. Vercel level. Okay, Vercel.
I use Vercel because Vercel is the little unknown and it's easier to connect the domains. Connect the domain to the Vercel app. Because you just have to connect it and put a DNS and it's done.
Correct.
Yeah, that's about it.
Correct.
There's too many things if you want to learn in AWS. I think that's the main things.
Yeah. Okay, so you have covered that S3 bucket. Okay. Just a side question. I mean, not related to this. I'm just asking you because you're here. Did you find, and this is completely unrelated, right? I'm just kind of asking you. And so, do you have you built any kind of stock screener, like or did you find any API which is good for like getting data for stocks and stuff? So you
Algo
can
trading. Algo trading or actual trading?
no, not. I'm not going to do algo trading. It is just to kind of get the data and analyze stocks. That's all. Just for screening. I want basically financial data for like past 10 years.
Just for testing, right?
Yeah. Not for testing, it is for screening the stocks and trying to find out certain criteria. So basically all I want is data which gets updated quarterly, where I can kind of get all of that data, and with that data I can write my own screener using JavaScript, something, whatever.
Yeah, you can use Alpaca. ALPACA.
APACA. Let me just see.
So I used to do algo trading. So I wanted to find an algorithm to beat the market.
Correct.
So I used this API and had built a Node.js app and did an algorithm. Then I understood that most people do this and you can't beat the market because there are better algorithms.
Correct.
So
No,
here
it
you
is
can test.
this is not for trading. This is more for screening purposes.
Yeah, this has real data also.
This is okay. Got it.
It's
And
just
it
like
has
Zerodha, but in US.
So this has like
This has a
financial
real
data.
API also. This has real API also. If you enroll for a market or this one, you can trade using the real account as well, using the same API.
Indian markets, or this is for Indian markets as well, right?
No, this is for US markets.
No, I want financial data for Indian markets. I can download.
Indian market, you have Zerodha API also, but it's a little harder to integrate.
But with Zerodha API, can you get like financial data? Because I
Yeah.
was only at like past. I want like for past 10 years these like not annual reports, the financial statements and stuff like that.
Zerodha, I think it's possible. Zerodha APIs. Or there was one more. I think it was. I don't remember its name. There was one more which was equal to Zerodha in APIs. Yeah.
Let me know if you like. It is not not that important. Just asking
Yeah.
if you know it. Hey, thanks a lot. Just just share the recording with us.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah.
Really, I was having such an headache with AWS. I don't know.
Thanks a lot, Naveen. It is really very helpful.
Yeah. Any questions you have?
I don't have any questions.
I know nothing. As I am trying to implement, I will get all sorts of hurdles.
This is the shortest way. I learned it using. I have been doing it for the past 2-3 years. So I found out through trial and error only.
Okay, got it. I'm sure you can also
I
understand.
used to use GCP as well as Azure. There again, as you said, I got headache figuring out things. Then I thought let's stick to a cloud and cloud service provider, and I stuck to AWS. It's been very easy for me. Now I can just do almost everything I want. WordPress, AWS, Magento, AWS.
Yeah. No, if you stick to one, only problem now will be to convince clients. Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much. Yeah. Have a good